you have to really admire Comey's formulation. I never thought these words would be coming out of my mouth. But I can't say there's not a 1% chance that, Donald Trump has screwed a chicken or had the prostitutes urinate on the hotel bed, collaborated with Russia. This is the guy who was fired by Trump and has been going around grousing about it bitterly ever since then. I guess, I don't know, Trump didn't do it. At least this is the claim. I don't know how these things normally go, but Comey, remember, he was out in California, and he was so shocked. He saw it on TV. The guy's been whining and weeping about this. So, it is not what's surprising is, as you say, the anchor's reactions to this silly formulation of his. I never thought these words would come out of my mouth. There's a 1% chance that the President of the United States has done, fill in the blank, some horrible thing here. That's not a fact. Now, George Stephanopoulos sit back and say, that's stunning. There's a 1% chance, in your opinion, that the president has done X, Y, Z. No, it's not stunning. It tells us nothing except that Comey doesn't like Trump, which I think we already gathered.
Yeah, we got that. And by the way, he's done the other thing, which is he told us all at the beginning of this whole investigation with Hillary, not at the beginning, but as he came out and started making comments, he said, I will not let this be driven by politics. And I remember that was particularly key during the primaries when there were reporters saying to him in news conferences, well, are you going to finish up before the convention, before the general election, before this, before that? And he said, I'm not going to let politics. And now he admits that he softened the blow for Hillary because he didn't want to delegitimize what he expected to be her presidency that he knew was going to happen.
Right, and wanted to keep his job, maybe get a promotion. This liberal personality type, I don't care that, obviously he's now admitted that that his wife and 4 daughters marched in the pussy hat marches and that he's no longer a Republican. But this whole lifelong Republican thing, it's really besides it being a joke from the lifelong Republicans they put on MSNBC, for example, I have a friend who's as right-wing as I am. He's still a registered Democrat because he says in case a pollster ever calls him, he wants to be able to say, yep, I'm a Democrat. I love Donald Trump or Ronald Reagan or whomever. Calling yourself a Republican is really meaningless. But in any event, I think what's much more important is this liberal personality type, something I made fun of in my column. All these books they write about their own morality, the dictates of my conscience, the politics of truth, a higher loyalty. This is just the kind of pompous individual like Joe Wilson, remember from the Bush years, and now we have James Comey. They just nothing makes them happier than to bathe in the warm bath of liberal approval and being called honorable. But just in case anybody else didn't call James Comey honorable, he leapt in and called himself honorable and truthful and ethical. And I want my grandchildren to know what my North Star is. I have never seen such a pompous blowhard.
Well, and what explains the fact that these network anchors, I understand their personal politics, but if anybody else speculated the way that you've outlined in this column, in a very detailed way, that this guy has been allowed to speculate, the reporter or anchor questioning him would have said, well, did you find any proof that happened?
Right.
And they would have challenged it, but they're not doing it in this case because he serves his purpose and their purpose at the same time.
Yes, and it's worse than you're describing. They act as if his opinion is a fact. No, it's not a fact. It's okay. You may as well, give a tour. In the Charlie Brown cartoons, they have the parents talking, and it's just wah, 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 wah. For James Comey, it should just be Trump's a poopy head. Trump's a poopy head. Trump's a poopy head. And George Stephanopoulos can sit back and say, that's stunning. No, it's not stunning. We know he doesn't like Trump.
Do you think that Comey's going to at least get some of his comeuppance as he and Andrew McCabe try to figure out who's more at blame? Because now the Inspector General's come out with a report saying that McCabe should be referred for criminal prosecution. Well, if he lied and if Comey lied and leaked and that sort of thing, I think both of them ought to face some criminal prosecution.
There's a lot of apparent criminality to go around in the top echelons of the FBI, the Department of Justice. And, I mean, look, as long as they're all speculating, I'm speculating too. I'd say in the Southern District Office, Southern District of Manhattan, U.S. Attorney's Office. I mean, what's going on with Michael Cohen right now? And I still want to know, what's the crime?
Yeah, exactly. What was the crime well, because you know the law, you're an attorney. To be able to have a raid on an attorney's office and possibly violate attorney-client privilege, they would have to show that Cohen himself was involved in some crime, not merely consulting with his client about possible crimes that had been committed already, right?
Oh, the standards are very, very high, and a lot of people have to sign off, which is why if it didn't involve Trump, I'd say, as they're all speculating wildly about on TV, well, there's got to be something here. This wouldn't have happened. You wouldn't get all these approvals. But Lars, in the era of Trump, that means nothing.
Because you're saying that people within the bureaucracy of the DOJ, some of the deep state is...
Comey. Watch James
They're just
Comey,
like James
and
Comey.
You have the mentality. All of their wives are wearing pussy hats the day after the inauguration. I promise you. And
they understand that they can do this without getting in trouble. But they can get away with doing this. We'll sign off on the raid, and if anybody questions it later, I'll say, well, there's no consequence for doing it, is there?
Unfortunately, I don't think so. But as with so many other things in the Trump era, it may be a case of first impression. But I mean, from everything that is actually known right now, it's looking really dirty to me. Really, really, really dirty.
And it's always a pleasure to have you on the program. By the way, thank you very much for all the times that you're willing to share time with us, and we appreciate it, Ann.
Good to talk to you, Lars. Bye-bye.
Take care now. That's Ann Coulter, syndicated columnist, the author of In Trump We Trust.
We will make America great again.